In episode 208 of Battle Through the Heavens, the Soul Clan's conspiracy was finally exposed. The true Nihility Devouring Flame appeared, and the Medicine Clan stood on the brink of annihilation. At the Medicine Clan's Grand Alchemy competition, Xiao Yan successfully refined a 9-grade profound pill, bringing a legendary pill that had vanished for centuries back into the world. Even with Xiao Yan's normally composed temperament, he could not conceal his overwhelming joy as he stood in the air. His fingertips trembled slightly. He understood better than anyone how uncertain his success had been. With his current cultivation, his chances of independently refining a 9-grade profound pill had been less than 40%. His achievement today had depended not only on his ability but also on an extraordinary convergence of opportunities. Earlier, 4 of the continent's greatest alchemists had competed on the same stage, each attempting to refine a 9-grade profound pill. Their efforts had drained the spiritual energy within thousands of miles of Medicine Mountain. In the end, all 4 of them exhausted their energy, leaving their embryonic pills incomplete. It should have ended in a draw, with all 4 participants failing. However, Hun Xuzi was ruthless and calculating. He attempted to devour the energy of the other 3 embryonic pills and use it to complete his own. Unfortunately for him, his devouring technique was perfectly countered by Xiao Yi, the spirit of Xiao Yan's purifying demonic lotus flame. Xiao Yi not only destroyed Hun Xuzi's devouring technique but also seized the embryonic pill that Hun Xuzi had painstakingly refined. Afterward, Old Shenong and Elder Wanhua acknowledged Xiao Yan's astonishing talent. They voluntarily surrendered their own embryonic pills to help him succeed. The energies of 4 embryonic pills, each possessing different medicinal properties, gathered within a single cauldron. After enduring more than 10 minutes of violent lightning strikes, cracks spread across the forming pill. It finally exploded before undergoing a complete transformation. A dense medicinal fragrance filled the sky, forming countless illusions of rare herbs. The miraculous sight stunned everyone present. The completed 9-grade profound pill possessed extremely high intelligence. It transformed into a streak of light and attempted to escape, immediately igniting the greed of the surrounding experts. Numerous powerful figures began preparing to make a move. Xiao Yan released a cold snort that instantly suppressed them. He spread his green and crimson bone wings and flashed through the air, intercepting the fleeing pill. With a single yellow spring's palm, he shattered the spiritual light protecting it. The intelligent 9-grade profound pill immediately transformed into the pitiful figure of a beautiful naked woman, attempting to confuse everyone with her appearance and create an opportunity to escape. However, Xiao Yan saw through its true nature. With a flick of his finger, he planted a spiritual seal upon it, dispelled the illusion, and securely sealed the peerless pill inside a jade bottle. The legendary pill that had not appeared for centuries had finally fallen into his hands. From that moment onward, Xiao Yan firmly claimed the supreme position of the #1 alchemist on the Do Qi continent. No one could rival his achievements in the art of alchemy. Once the competition ended, Xiao Yan waved his hand and recalled the Northern King. He then cupped his fists toward Hun Xuzi, Old Shenong, and Elder Wanhua. "Thank you for your generous contributions." His casual words immediately created an extremely peculiar atmosphere. Old Shenong and Elder Wanhua merely smiled calmly. They had accepted their defeat wholeheartedly and fully recognized Xiao Yan's status in the world of alchemy. They openly declared that his talent surpassed both the ancients and those yet to come, and that no one could stand above him. Hun Xuzi, however, could barely control his twitching expression. Hatred surged through his heart. He had spent several days pouring all his effort into refining his embryonic pill, only for everything he had created to become a stepping stone for Xiao Yan. Nothing in his life had ever brought him greater humiliation. The Medicine Clan elders who had witnessed the entire process experienced complicated emotions. They could not help regretting the clan's decision to expel Yao Lao all those years ago. That decision had caused the Medicine Clan an irreparable loss that would be remembered for generations. Taking advantage of the peaceful atmosphere, Xiao Yan decided to fulfill Yao Lao's lifelong wish. Before everyone present, he respectfully requested that clan chief Yao Dan restore Yao Lao's name to the clan monument. Yao Dan looked at Xiao Yan's heaven-defying achievements in alchemy and finally came to a realization. He openly admitted that Yao Lao had been the medicine clan's most outstanding genius in 1,000 years and immediately agreed to Xiao Yan's request. After spending half his life wandering and enduring injustice, Yao Lao finally cleared his name and returned to his clan. The obsession he had carried throughout his life was finally resolved. Although Yao Lao normally possessed a calm and detached state of mind, he could not suppress his emotions at that moment. His fingertips trembled slightly. Just as everyone believed the medicine ceremony had ended perfectly and all disturbances had finally settled, Hun Xuzi, who had been restraining himself throughout the entire event, suddenly revealed a strange and sinister smile. His next sentence instantly froze the atmosphere and shattered the illusion of peace. With greed and cruelty in his eyes, he stared directly at clan chief Yao Dan. "I would like to temporarily borrow the medicine clan's Tuasha ancient Emperor Jade." The entire gathering fell deathly silent. The Tuasha ancient Emperor Jade was a sacred treasure passed down among the 8 ancient clans. Each clan treated its fragment as its lifeline, hiding it from the world and protecting it generation after generation. Even ordinary clan elders might never have the opportunity to see it. By openly demanding the ancient jade, Hun Xuzi was effectively declaring war and attempting to seize the very foundation of the medicine clan. Everyone present believed that Hun Xuzi had lost his mind after his defeat. With the strength of a 6-star dose saint that he had displayed, there was no possibility of him taking the jade from the medicine clan's territory. His arrogance would only lead to his death. However, Xiao Yan had experienced countless battles and possessed exceptionally sharp instincts. He immediately sensed that something was deeply wrong. Hun Xuzi was an experienced schemer with an extremely calculating mind. He was certainly not an impulsive fool. He clearly understood that demanding the ancient jade in public would enrage the entire medicine clan and cause every expert present to attack him. Yet he remained completely calm and fearless. That abnormal confidence caused Xiao Yan's heart to sink. He immediately became vigilant, flashing in front of Yao Lao and quietly warning him to remain cautious. Yao Lao's expression also became grave. He instantly understood that the situation was far more complicated than it appeared. An unimaginable disaster had already begun descending upon Medicine Mountain. The members of the Medicine Clan were furious. Elder Wanhua's killing intent erupted, and he could no longer restrain himself. Vast Do Qi swept across the sky as he flashed above Hun Xuzi. The 9 serene wind flame gathered into an enormous palm, crashing downward with overwhelming power. Elder Wanhua intended to capture and kill this intruder who had dared challenge the Medicine Clan's authority, forcing the chief of the Soul Clan to come personally if he wanted the body returned. Facing an attack powerful enough to severely injure an ordinary Do Saint, Hun Xuzi remained completely composed. He showed no fear or panic. Instead, he quietly muttered, "It should be about time." The moment his words fell, the black flames that had remained suppressed deep within his eyes erupted wildly. His aura suddenly surged, undergoing a complete transformation. Hun Xuzi merely raised his hand and released an ordinary-looking palm strike. Yet that simple attack forcibly devoured and neutralized Elder Wanhua's enormous palm of 9 serene wind flame. A terrifying backlash erupted. Elder Wanhua was struck violently. Blood sprayed from his mouth as he was sent flying hundreds of meters through the air. He crashed into the square, creating an enormous crater, and lay there with severe injuries. Everyone's pupils contracted as shock filled their hearts. A horrified cry echoed across the area. A 7-star Do Saint. Only then did everyone finally understand that Hun Xuzi had deliberately concealed his true cultivation from the beginning. Even when his embryonic pill was stolen and he was publicly humiliated, he had suppressed his true realm and endured his rage. He had patiently accompanied everyone through the entire alchemy competition without revealing his strength. Such terrifying self-control and calculating patience caused Xiao Yan and Yao Lao's expressions to become completely solemn. A chill crept down their backs. Hun Xuzi's strength and cunning far exceeded everyone's expectations. The situation was now completely out of control. Clan Chief Yao Dan finally abandoned his previous composure. His face became frighteningly cold. He instantly understood the truth behind the mysterious destruction of the Spirit Clan and Stone Clan, whose members had vanished without a trace. The hidden mastermind had been the Soul Clan all along. To prevent the same tragedy from happening again, Yao Dan immediately issued an order. He tore open a special communication scroll, attempting to establish contact with the Flame Clan and Thunder Clan. He intended to inform them of the truth behind the destruction of the ancient clans and unite the 4 remaining clans against the Soul Clan's conspiracy. However, it was already too late. The spatial passage formed by the communication scroll had only just appeared when an unknown force tore it apart, causing it to disappear completely. The space surrounding Medicine Mountain had already been secretly sealed by the Soul Clan, cutting off every connection between the Medicine Clan and the outside world. With outside assistance severed and all communication blocked, the Medicine Clan had become an isolated island trapped in a hopeless situation. The Medicine Clan elders urgently activated the clan's alarms. Countless Medicine Clan warriors tore through the air to provide support, yet they could not break through the spatial restriction. They could only surround the area helplessly, unable to do anything. Hun Xuzi casually admitted that he had already sealed the entire medicine realm in advance. No one could enter. No one could leave. No one could send a message. The numerous experts from outside sects who had come to observe the medicine ceremony immediately fell into panic. They frantically tore open spatial scrolls in an attempt to escape, but every spatial technique failed. The trap had already been completed, and no one could leave. Xiao Yan's heart sank to the bottom. He finally understood everything. The Soul Clan had remained quiet, allowing the Sky Mansion Alliance to destroy the Hall of Souls. They had endured for years without openly taking action, not because they feared the factions of the Central Plains, but because they had been secretly preparing a terrifying plan to eliminate the ancient clans. The Medicine Clan ceremony had been chosen as the day of its destruction. Even while trapped in this desperate situation, Clan Chief Yao Dan remained calm. He sternly warned Hun Xuzi that the Medicine Clan had already established stable spatial passages with the Flame Clan and Thunder Clan. If contact among the 3 clans was suddenly interrupted, the ancient clan would undoubtedly notice something was wrong and rush to provide assistance. Once the 4 clans joined forces, the Soul Clan would inevitably be destroyed. However, Hun Xuzi's response shattered their final hope. He declared that since the Soul Clan had been capable of silently destroying the Spirit Clan and Stone Clan beneath the ancient clan's watchful eyes, they were equally capable of making the Medicine Clan vanish from the world without leaving behind a single trace. Before his voice had even faded, Yao Dan shot into the sky. The full pressure of a 7-star dose saint erupted without reservation. His aura faintly suppressed Hun Xuzi's, displaying the immense foundations of a clan chief and the accumulated power of an ancient clan that had existed for thousands of years. The outside cultivators below were completely terrified. They fell to their knees and begged Hun Xuzi to spare those who had nothing to do with the conflict, promising to reward him generously in the future. Hun Xuzi pretended to be merciful and seemingly allowed them to leave, but murderous intent was already hidden beneath his expression. Xiao Yan, who understood the vicious nature of the Soul Clan, had already become suspicious. As expected, the moment the crowd rushed toward the exit, black light suddenly erupted across the sky. Miserable screams sounded one after another. Endless black flames seeped out from cracks in empty space, covering the entire world. In an instant, the sky darkened, and even the light of the sun and moon disappeared. Xiao Yan's pupils contracted sharply. Xiao Yi, the spirit of the purifying demonic lotus flame inside his body, immediately awakened. The childlike spirit's young face became extremely grave, while the flames surrounding him tightened defensively. The black flames sweeping across the world were no longer merely a subsidiary flame controlled by Hun Xuzi. They were the complete and authentic origin flame of the Nihility Devouring Flame. This supreme heavenly flame, ranked near the top of the heavenly flame ranking, possessed the most terrifying devouring power in existence. Its pressure was ancient and horrifying, far exceeding that of every enemy Xiao Yan had previously encountered. The Nihility Devouring Flame spread through the sky like an inescapable poison, transforming into countless tiny black specks that were almost invisible to the naked eye. The black specks drifted across the entire region. Anyone touched by them would have the Do Qi inside their bodies silently devoured and dissolved. Even defensive Do Qi and protective energy barriers could not stop the flames from invading. The Do Qi of countless cultivators rapidly disappeared, throwing them into extreme panic. Yao Lao's face became grim. He declared that the space had been completely sealed and that the Soul Clan clearly intended to massacre everyone present without allowing a single survivor to escape. Xiao Yan and Yao Lao immediately reached an understanding. They abandoned any thought of helping the medicine clan and focused solely on protecting themselves. Xiao Yan activated the purifying demonic lotus flame, forming a pink flame barrier around himself and Yao Lao. The barrier isolated them from the devouring erosion of the Nihility Devouring Flame. They decided to observe the situation and wait for the medicine clan and soul clan to exhaust each other before searching for an opportunity to break free and escape. Both of them understood that they could barely protect themselves in the current situation. They had no ability to interfere in a life-or-death struggle between ancient clans. Whether the medicine clan could survive this catastrophe would depend entirely on fate. Looking at the overwhelming black flames and his terrified clansmen, Clan Chief Yao Dan understood that the greatest crisis in the medicine clan's 1,000-year history had finally arrived. He no longer hesitated. With a determined roar, he issued the heaviest order the medicine clan had received in thousands of years. Activate the clan protection formation, the heaven-transforming medicine formation. The moment the command was given, every medicine clan elder attacked simultaneously. Countless beams of light pierced through the mountains and shot into the sky, intertwining to form an enormous and majestic formation barrier above them. Every rare medicinal plant across Medicine Mountain instantly withered. The essence accumulated within the plants over thousands of years, along with the medicinal energy of heaven and earth, surged into the formation. Every member of the medicine clan sacrificed a portion of their cultivation and poured their do qi into the formation's foundation. The entire clan devoted everything it possessed to activating the protective formation. The whole medicine realm trembled violently. The ancestral formation that had remained dormant for thousands of years finally awakened. An immense pressure swept in every direction, releasing terrifying power comparable to that of a peak do saint. Even Xiao Yan was deeply moved. For the first time, he truly witnessed the horrifying foundations accumulated by an ancient clan over countless generations. Yao Lao explained in a low voice that the formation had been created by the medicine clan's do god ancestor. A fragment of the ancestor's remaining soul was hidden within it. It was the medicine clan's final life-saving trump card, and the only force capable of resisting the soul clan at that moment. Facing the magnificent heaven-transforming medicine formation, Hun Xuzi showed no fear. Instead, he smiled faintly. He then bowed respectfully toward the endless black flames covering the sky. Under everyone's horrified gazes, the vast sea of black flames slowly twisted and gathered together. Eventually, they transformed into the tall figure of an ancient demon god. Strange black patterns covered his body, and his eyes were as deep as black holes. Endless devouring power surrounded him, while an ancient and boundless pressure crushed everyone present. The true body of the Nihility Devouring Flame had officially appeared. Even Yao Lao felt his mouth become dry and his heart tremble. He revealed that this origin Nihility Devouring Flame had already developed a complete heavenly flame spirit. It had existed for an extremely long time and possessed astonishing strength, even surpassing Xiao Yan's purifying demonic lotus flame. It was one of the most terrifying heavenly flames in existence. The moment it appeared, the black flames filling the sky roared in unison, resembling subjects kneeling before their emperor. All the devouring power in the world gathered around its body. The demon godlike figure of the Nihility Devouring Flame stood in the air and casually waved its hand. The black flames filling the sky transformed into an endless rain of fire that bombarded the heaven-transforming medicine formation. Wherever the flames struck, white mist surged upward and energy poured away. The formation's origin energy was rapidly devoured and dissolved. Its radiant barrier dimmed and weakened at a speed visible to the naked eye. A cold, hoarse, and ancient voice echoed across the world with absolute indifference and dominance. Medicine Clan, surrender, and you may still survive. Even in this hopeless situation, Clan Chief Yao Dan displayed the unyielding resolve of a clan leader. A savage blood-red light appeared in his eyes. He used the medicine clan's final reserves, sacrificing the countless pills stored within the clan to the formation. Powerful medicinal energy surged into the sky. Yao Dan bit the tip of his tongue and began burning his cultivation and blood essence. He roared the ultimate secret technique that had been passed down through the medicine clan for countless generations. 10,000 pills transform the heavens. In the name of alchemy, let the ancestor return. The Medicine Clan's ultimate trump card was fully activated. The accumulated foundations of countless generations erupted all at once. A final battle concerning the survival of an ancient clan and the remaining power of a Doe god officially began. Above Medicine Mountain, the glory of the miraculous alchemy competition had not yet faded, but the despairing black flames of annihilation had already covered the world. The medicine ceremony had ended. An age of chaos had begun. The balance of the Central Plains was about to be completely rewritten by this earth-shattering war.